Oh yeah, black sun in the hizzle, oh the shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. But first, I wanna y'all got to see I got a new lens, new lens. First, I wanna mention tomorrow we got a great show with Fayla Nazarene. We're gonna be talking about fibroids, fibroid cysts in women. So y'all want to tune in for that, especially this women who this affects. Y'all definitely want to tune into that because we got answers. We got natural solutions. Okay. All right. Today's title. Oh man, what's up? I want to give a shout out. What's up, twin? What's up, Zanzi? What's up? What's up? Y'all here early. That's what I like. I like when people are here early. I like it because being early relates to the topic at hand. It relates to the topic at hand. The Supreme Court decision. I know a lot of y'all been waiting on me to deal with this topic about Roe versus Wade and how the federal government is giving it back to the state, basically giving the state, can y'all hear me good? Because I can't see my volumes. Giving the state, basically the state, the powers. But what y'all don't see is that there's an underlining factor here that people are missing. Abortion is still legal, right? And so it's up to the states, meaning that the states have the power. And so you have two types of states in the United States. You got red state, blue state. Okay? Red states have its morals and values and whatnot, and blue states, well, blue states are blue states, right? And I'm going to use an analogy for, uh, I'm going to use a real simple analogy. So, you live in a neighborhood, right? You live in a neighborhood, and when you buy a house or you want to live in a good neighborhood, um, you preferably, most likely, you want to live in a quiet neighborhood, right? Now, everybody doesn't want to live in a quiet neighborhood. Their perception of life is not to have a quiet neighborhood, but to, well, I have a house. I'm going to play my music as loud as I want. I want to party. Two different perspectives here, right? Much like the red states and blue states. So the red states, you know, have different type of values, outlooks on life, this and that. And I don't agree 100% with the red states on everything, but for the working class business owner, just a person who wants to just go to work, make his money, come home, and just live his life. That's more aligned with the red state values, right? Straight talk. Hey, straight talk, what's good, man? Hey, one of these days, brother, I want you to come on the show because, man, I wish you could come on today's show. I mean, I know you're working and everything, but this is detrimental because Trevor, straight talk with Trevor is a working man. I've been to his page. Y'all go subscribe to his page. This man is uh, what you consider a working class father, just straight up and down, as Yanga would say, straight up and down like 6 o'clock. And we're waiting on Yanga also. We're waiting on Yanga to get here because I don't want to use this certain analogy until he gets here because it involved me visiting Yanga, going to his house. And yeah, I made that analogy yesterday. He's like, really, my son? I said, yeah. So I want to wait until Yanga gets here to explain that. He said he'll be here, so we'll give him a chance. But Trevor, what's going on with you, baby? What's going on with you? What's going on, twin? What's going on, everybody? And I hope Free Spirit shows up because she wanted. I said, look, Free Spirit. She texted me about the Roe versus Wade. I said, this is something we need to talk about. This is something we need to talk about because let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna tell y'all a big secret that White Son told me. He said, listen here, Black Son. I know you and them niggers think everything's about you and your race. It's not always about you and your kind, boy. Sometimes it's just not about y'all. It's not enough. It's not enough to even make y'all even a concern here. You know what I mean there, boy. I said, well, White Son's my, KKK brother. He's my white brother. So I said, well, White Son, why is people making this a big deal? He said, well, there, boy, let's see. It's not even about race because, there's a bunch of liberal whites that I don't like. I don't like white people that are liberal, just like you got black people who don't like niggers. I said, you know what, White Son, that makes sense. Even listen here, Black Son, even Malcolm X talked about the black man and the niggers. I said, you know what, White Son, that makes a whole lot of sense. So what am I ranting about right now? I'm ranting about classism. Basically, your blue states are where all your sorry ass, or well, let's say blue state mentality, because you got a lot of people coming from blue states to come to red states to make themselves a better life. And you got a lot of people living in the red states that have a blue state mentality. Okay? Now, a red state mentality is a person of any race, either black, white, Hispanic, that wants to, they might come from the hood or a poor neighborhood and better themselves. Okay, better themselves. That's why earlier I used the analogy of the neighborhood. Most people with the red state mindset have this idea like, what, I want to buy a house. I want to, have a 2-car garage, and, live the American dream. And when they go to that house, they want a quiet neighborhood. They don't want their neighbors banging fucking Young Thug and all this fucking music. Even with the white people, they don't want you playing your heavy metal music all loud. Don't want that shit, okay? Because there's white people that do that fuckery too. So, the blue state mentality is like, oh, I want to do what I want to do, and anytime I want to do it, I want to do it. I don't want nobody to tell me what to do. Now, it's not about somebody telling you what to do. It's when it affects other people. If I'm in my house or if I'm in my car and I play my music where it's going, just loud ass shit like that, then it's a problem. It's like I'm not being considerate to my neighbors. Now, in the black world, we call that nigga behavior. That's a nigga. That's nigga shit. Okay, that's what a nigga does. Malcolm X talked about the difference between a black man and a nigga. Y'all know Black Son ain't never claimed to be a nigga. Never. I don't do nigga shit. Okay? Don't play my music loud. I don't, no. Don't do that. Now, let's get back to the red state, blue state. The strategy of the Supreme Court with this Roe versus Wade is to force people into certain states. Let me say that again. Roe versus Wade is not even about abortion because abortion is still legal. It forces you liberals and you niggas and you goddamn people who just don't want to do for self into the blue states where you fucking belong. Okay? We want to preserve the red states for the working class, the people who don't mind working, who don't mind owning a business, who don't mind living in a quiet neighborhood. We are sick of people playing their music loud. We are sick of people just coming to red states and wanting to demolish a good thing. Let me just keep it plain and simple. So what Roe versus Wade does is that the Supreme Courts give the power back to the state. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Give the powers back to the state. Abortion is still legal, right? Okay, we got that. Give the powers back to the state. So that means all that fucking, red state, blue state politics over okay, I live in Georgia, right? We don't want your blue state influence here. So what this does, what power back to the states does, is allow red states to be red states and blue states to be blue states. So if you want to get your abortion, then go to a fucking blue state, move there and stay there. Don't come to a goddamn, that's their way of keeping these vagabonds and these lowlives from coming to a red state. It's just like, oh shit, that guy's thing is leaning. That's not good. Ooh, that's not good. Ooh, y'all, I'm about to, I got to get off this goddamn highway because it's a roll-off truck. His thing is leaning like sideways. Ooh, it's not good. A rookie, but I ain't gonna get on him. He's working, but he needs to get some more experience because them roll-offs are very dangerous. Shit can roll on the highway and kill a lot of people. Anywho, I digress. I'm sorry, y'all. That's the trucker in me. That's the veteran trucker in me. I like safety. I don't like driving these highways and seeing accidents and decapitations and people's heads on the highways. I don't like seeing that shit, okay? All right. Anywho, red state, blue state. This is simply, this is simply pushing those liberals, pushing those niggas, pushing the people that don't want to do for self, and keep them in the blue states with their blue state politics. That's all Roe versus Wade does. When they say give the power back to the state, that's all it's doing, because the Reds want to be amongst the Reds, and the Blues is funny because the people in the blue states always want to come to the red state and convert it to a blue state. Like, no, keep your ass in the blue state. Let's see, what does this say? But isn't giving power to the states over a woman's body a bad thing in itself? Some people might not have means. Okay, so Zanzi, if those women stay in the state that they're in, which is a blue state, they will provide that stuff because that's the politics they live on. The people in the red state don't want to pay for that shit no more. So this is a ploy to move those people out of the red states. This is what this is. I got this information from White Sun himself. White Sun told me everything. He said we want goddamn low lives. We won't it don't even matter if you're a nigger, you're goddamn working class, and you can stay here in the red state. We are fed up and tired of these low lives draining our dollars. See, the money is going down. The money is being drained, so we're going into reserve mode. That's what this is. That's what this is all about. So the people on food stamps, the people who want to get abortions, and all the shit that fucking people in the red states are against. Because I know black people be like, oh, Black Sun, there's a bunch of white people on that too. Yeah, and goddamn, we want them in the goddamn blue state. Hell, we'll take a working class nigger over goddamn poor white who don't want to do for sale any day. Because it's about money at the end of the day, okay? So yeah, those people, Zanzi, they can move to a blue state. I don't know how it is in Canada. Maybe you can call in, but the people in the, we got red states, we got blue states, Republicans, Democrats, and even though you got people in the U.S., especially black people, who claim that they're, even the ones who claim they're not political, a lot of them have a liberal or conservative leaning thought pattern. This is a fact. Not paying for it. Okay. He says not paying for it and making it illegal is different. No. Okay, let me go back. I think you misunderstand. See, this is why you subscribe to the arena, not to the mainstream media. Roe versus Wade is still legal. Let me say this again. Roe versus Wade, okay, abortion is legal. Giving powers back to the state only pushes people to the states where it's legal. Like, everybody doesn't agree with that, mostly in the red states, so they just want to push the people who believe in that shit to the blue states. That's all they want to do, Zanzi. But no, it's not illegal. It's not illegal. No. So technically, is abortion legal in the United States? Yes. Yes, it is still legal. So you got to understand, Zanzi, just because you got the federal government saying, you know what, give it back to the states. The federal government and the state government are really the same. They're really the same. It's no difference. Let's see. Yeah, but state are moving to make it illegal. Okay, so Zanzi, again, take those people and move them to the blue states. There's plenty of blue states. The people in the red states don't want the people in the blue states. It's just like we have a thing here with housing. If you want to move into a quiet neighborhood and the neighbors who you're around don't understand, we don't want loud music, you have to develop a system and a strategy to push them out. Or you could just sue their asses, which, you know, you could sue them for playing the music too loud. I think that should be another show. I could go into it a little bit, but you know what? I might have time to go into that. How to sue the noisy neighbors playing loud music. I might can touch on that a little bit. But let's see. You know, I'm driving, Zanzi, so please, if you can, please hit the link and come on, please, because I want to have this discussion. And I was hoping Yanga show up, and I was hoping Free Spirit show up. I don't know Free Spirit's stance yet. You know, I do know Yanga's stance, and I know Zanzi's stance. But Zanzi, again, abortion is legal in America. This is just a tactic to push people out of the red states, because people in the red states, we're facing a financial crisis. We're in a financial crisis. Okay, go, ho. Zanzi. All right, Zanzi, what's up, man? What's going on?
Good yourself.
Good. And Zanzi, I was saying that abortion is still legal in the U.S.
Absolutely. I know that rules would be overturned doesn't automatically makes abortion illegal. But from what I understand, there are some states that put in some laws that...
Your mic. Zanzi, your mic.
Oh.
Getting a lot of feedback, yeah. It's like a lot of white noise. No, it's a lot of white noise. Uh-oh. Hopefully, okay, so Zanzi. Okay, at my country, and I'm in Texas. That's right, Queen Pyramid. Yeah, I was telling Zanzi it's still legal. And he knows that, but I already know where his arguments, but I wanted him to rep his argument. Then he said loud music and abortions are not equivalent. Okay, I'm glad he said that. It's not even about the abortions. Well, it's about the abortions. What the abortions and the loud music have in common is that they tend to share the same demographic, Zanzi. Again, when I go back, I'm talking about poor whites. I'm talking about niggas. I'm talking about people in a lower class bracket. People who are more, I don't know, let me just be blunt. People who are more classy tend to not play their music loud to disturb their neighbors. And in a sense, those people tend to have, and I'm not a Christian, but they tend to have more Christian, let me just use Christianity as a being. Christians tend to have a moral value to, okay, here we go. Okay, Zanzi.
Is it better now?
Oh, it's much better. Yes, yes, yes. Keep
All
it
right.
like that. Keep it like that. Yeah. So Zanzi, what I was saying, it was not about the loud music and abortion being equivalent. It's just that they share the same demographic. They share the same type of undesirable people that people in the red state consider, yeah, undesirables.
I understand that, but law should not be about preferences, right? Law should be about rights. So a a neighborhood association can make it so that, well, making noise past that time, that's not accepted in this neighborhood, right? So we're
Right.
gonna fine you, or you're gonna have to move. A city can make those same kind of call for noises,
Right.
right? uh,
Yes.
but for your right to have medical actions on your own body, that should not be up to the preferences of a neighborhood. This should not be up to the preferences of a state. This
Right.
should be a question of human rights. So this should be handled at the federal level, at the very least, if it should even be handled by the legal system, right? It should be ingrained as a right. It is all about the interpretation of a right in the end, right? And
Right.
the question is, like I said, I know that it's not illegal right now, and I know, well, I understand from what I've read and watched and heard, that there are some states that maybe right now have not yet moved, but intend to. So it's not
Right.
yet done, right? So we can't speak about
Well,
how this will turn out. But there are states that add trigger laws that basically just waited for the prerequisite of it not being impossible to put into action anymore to then be put into action, right? Laws that weren't applicable, but that now becomes applicable since Roe versus Wade have been overturned. So
mhm,
now that those you can argue, and I think that's the argument you were making, that all they want in the end is they know that the people, they don't want to pay for it anymore, right? So they just
right.
want to
Right.
get the people who would want the state to pay for that to move out of those red states, right? But the
Right.
thing
Yes.
is, the people who expect the state, or will need the state to handle that, are the people that couldn't go out of state to have the abortion and come back if the laws permits it, if they won't persecute it. And by the way, if the state prosecutes you even though you had your abortion outside of the state, just because you live in that state, then the point is not to get you out of that state. It's just fucking, they don't want you to have an abortion, right? Because
Right.
they didn't pay for it. You had it outside of the state or even outside of the country, but they're still mad about it, right? So I'm not knowledgeable about enough about those laws to know if any of them would persecute a outside of state abortion. But any that would do that, that's suspicious in their intent, right? That's definitely not to have people move out at that point. At least not just because they don't want to pay for it. It's because they don't want people who want abortion to live in their state at that point. And that's an ideological position, and that should
Hmm.
not be ingrained into state law. So in my opinion, again, I'm not a lawmaker and I'm not even a United States resident, right? So but the point is here that the people who would rely on the state and need the state to have those abortions are the poor people, right? The people that can't
Right.
by themselves. Those
Right.
people most likely won't be able to move because moving costs a lot. At least in Canada, moving costs a lot. So I don't know
Right.
about in the United States, but and correct me if I'm wrong, but usually rents and standards of living are higher in blue states than they are in red states because of the social programs and because of all this government spending,
Yeah, but
right?
wouldn't
So moving into a blue state for poor people is most likely not an option. So they're just stuck with being oppressed by a law that, in my opinion, again, should not be up to. At, definitely not to state level lawmaker, most likely not up to law. It should be ingrained in constitution, but it's not, and that's why the Supreme Court had to give an opinion on it, and that's why we have a 9 justice Supreme Court here in Canada. Because if it was an even number, no decision could be reached, because
Right,
law is
exactly.
just words. The interpretation of those words is what is important in the end, right? And that's always gonna change. That's always gonna change, right? So
Okay, so Zanzi, let me ask you a question. So you got our economy being drained right now. Now, I will say this, rich people will always have access to abortion. Let's just get that straight. It's
yeah.
always going to be legal. That's number one. And rich people, even in the red states,
Well,
will have
it
access
depends though,
to
right?
abortion.
Because if it's illegal to have an out of state abortion, then even if you're rich enough to have an abortion out of state, if you get caught, technically, right? We know that the law doesn't apply to rich people, but technically you should get in trouble, right? You have enough
No,
money to
no,
pay
no, 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 no.
lawyers to not get into trouble, right? But
Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying if there's an abortion in a red state, then they can get in trouble, right? Correct?
no, because right. So let's say that I'm a Canadian, right? And I
Hmm.
go rob a bank in Europe, right? Well, when I come back in Canada, robbing a bank is a crime in Canada too. So I'm going to get in trouble for robbing a bank, even though it was in Europe, right? But so the thing is, when you have an abortion, those abortion law, I haven't read those laws, so I don't know that. And if you know, you can answer. But my question would be: does one of those states have the law written in a way that if you're a resident of, let's say, South Carolina, right, and you go
Yeah.
to New York to have an abortion and come back, well, in the eyes
Oh
of the
no, you're
law of
good.
South California, South
No, no,
Carolina,
no, no, no,
you
no. I see
still
what you're
committed a
saying.
crime, and you still, because some
No,
laws work like that, right? Some do.
no, 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 no.
Yes.
Not here.
Yes, they do.
I know. No, no, no. I hear what you're saying. With abortion is different. With abortion, they
I
don't
don't
care.
know that,
It-
right? Do you know for sure
oh,
for
okay,
all the
okay.
laws? That's the question I'm asking. Because if any of them works that way, and they might, because some others do, then the issue is a bit different, right? So that's an answer I don't have. So I can't make a specific argument on that.
Well,
But
the
that's a
best.
question I'm asking.
Okay, well, the best example I can use to answer your question are the marijuana laws. Some states is legal, some is not legal, but they're not going to hold you. Like, okay, let me give you an example. If you go to, yeah, yeah, just I'm gonna
That's
just
for
leave
the
it at that.
marijuana
Some
one. The
right,
marijuana one is one that doesn't that's I understand. That's one that
right,
if you go to Colorado and smoke weed, even though you're
uh
not
huh,
allowed to do it in fucking Massachusetts, you're not
uh
going to
huh,
be in trouble because you smoke weed in Colorado, right?
right,
But
right,
if you
exactly.
rob the, if you beat up someone in Colorado, you're most likely going to get in trouble either
Yeah, but
place you are, right?
you're discussing laws that both the states agree upon. Beating
Exactly.
somebody up, assault, they agree upon that, murder, all that. But an abortion, no, is different because you're saying that, okay, you know what, you want an abortion, we're
So,
not going to fund your
right. So,
abortion,
so
go
I
to another
understand what
state.
you're saying, but I guess it depends on the argument that's made, right? If it's the abortion that's the issue,
Take it out.
having the abortion, having the procedure, then right, it can be made out of state. But if it's considered a murder, then a murder is prosecutable anywhere in the United States, right? So that's what I'm saying. It
Oh,
depends on how the law handles the case in the situation, right?
well, again, Zanzi, it's about it's about um, it's about the funding. It's not even about the. I
That
see
might
what
be
you're
the
saying.
intent, indeed. I wouldn't know for sure. If that's the intent, it's not better, but it's milder, right? The impact is
Right? Yeah, you
different.
won't get it. Yeah, you won't get in trouble for it. Yeah, you won't get in trouble. That's the difference. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would be against that if that was the case. But no, it's a money move. Our economy's being drained, and they've cutting food stamps. So next thing, oh, they cut the damn abortion. Shit. Now if you can afford it, cool. But if you're relying on the state, then go to that state. Don't do it in our state. Go to that state.
So, but
So
let's say who's the poorest person you know?
Huh?
Who's the poorest person you know?
Um.
Don't give me a name. Maybe just a
Okay.
bracket
Yeah,
of
I'm thinking
money,
of
right?
somebody. Yeah. I'm okay. I'm thinking of somebody. Yeah.
Right. Well, what's the bracket of their annual income? Don't give me a name, just the income.
Man. I don't know. I guess about 15.
15,000
Yeah,
American,
about
right?
50. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
20, 20, 25, 20, 24, 25,000 Canadian. I'm not very good with the rates at the time, but well, that's richer than I was for most of my life, right? The most I've
Right.
made for a long time was about 15,000 Canadian, 16,000 Canadian. That's close to 10,000 American, right? Um,
Hmm.
a lot of people are in those situations, right? If I was a woman in that
Right.
situation and need an abortion, I wouldn't be in a position where I'd be able to move. That's the part. If it's all about financials, what's the plan here, right? I don't understand. That
Right.
person won't be able to move. That person will still have to try to have an abortion, or will have a kid that will cost a lot to the state because she won't be able to take care of that kid, right? So,
Right.
what's the plan? What's the outlook here?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you something that really happened here in Georgia, and you may or may not agree with it. But during the Olympics, they bought all the homeless people tickets just to get out of town. Go wherever you
Homeless.
want in the U.S. Yeah, yeah, Georgia paid for that.
What if you're holding on to a home barely, right? So that you're not homeless, so you don't qualify for that, but you'd like to be able
Right.
to keep your home. So,
Right. No, no, no. I hear that argument, and I don't disagree with that as far as keeping the home. But what I'm saying is that people, uh, people in the red states have gone through certain extremes. Like I said, Georgia, we bought homeless people tickets. They said, well, you can go anywhere in the United States. Just leave here.
yeah.
And so they're applying that same mentality. It's this is no different.
So
This is
did
why
they
I
all
can.
go to California? Because I understand that in Los Angeles they have a big trouble with homeless people right there.
Right, 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 right. And it's funny because I think a lot of states have did that, and a lot of people migrated to California because they say
So it's
that
like a South Park.
California. Right, yeah. And so this is it's just the way abortion is the Rover the giving powers back to a state is just another tactic. See, people on the left in their minds they panic and say, "Oh no, they're going to make abortion illegal." No, they're not going to make abortion illegal. They're just saying, "Look, it's going to be easier for you. It'll be easier for you if you move to California. Go move to New Jersey. Go move to New York because those are blue state liberal states where y'all need to be. Don't come to Georgia. Don't come to Texas. Don't come to states where we're working hard and you're draining our already drained out economy." That's all they're saying.
So
It's
what
gotten to
I
the point where we're past the flat line. We're almost in a depression. So our biggest reserve is to look. Okay. America has a mixed economy. Okay, we have a little elements of socialism and elements of capitalism. We're saying, look, man, the people who have the capitalist mind state, we want you here in the red state. The people who have emotional socialistic mind state, go to the blue states.
so but the I guess the issue I see with that is that what you're saying is that this decision, man, because it's all politics in the end, right? But this
Right,
politic play that we're having right here is
right.
based entirely on economics, right? Economics,
Yes,
and
yes,
that's it, right? But for the sake of economics, we're creating social issues by well, multiple kind of social issues that we could describe, and we're
well, they always do.
also
They always
putting
do, man. They all
lives in geopardy, right, for the
right.
sake of economical gain. But we have to remember something, right? I don't remember having had a choice at any point about where I was born. I don't know if you had. I didn't. So
No, no, I got you on that. I agree.
why should that matter, right? Because poor people most of the time, right, they stay right where they're born. They never had the means to go anywhere else, right?
Right,
So
that's right.
it's
That's true.
it's that's the issue I see with it personally.
Right, and it's funny that you mentioned that because the poor people that I know, they always complain about how, like, okay, I know a lot of poor black people, right? And They complain about how white people, once black people start moving in, there's this great flight of white people. Meaning because a lot of black people, and I'm just gonna keep it real, they like to have parties, play their music loud, and not saying there's white people that don't do that, but it's mostly the white people on the lower bracket of an economical ladder who does that. But the more higher class white people don't play their music loud, so they don't
That's
want their way of
something
life.
that's something in Canada that we don't get too much. But my aunt, when
Okay,
she moved to Texas,
right.
she witnessed that and explained that to me, and she was surprised by it. Basically, what she told me is that the realtor, she didn't have a lot of money, right? My aunt,
Right,
so the realtor, right, kept taking her to place where it was way out of her price range, right?
right.
And she was like, "Well, take me to somewhere that's more in my price range." And basically, the answer she got, "Well, okay, but those are all black neighborhoods." And
Yes, yes.
so she was like, okay, no problem, right? She never had any problem with those kind of. Then she when she went to those neighborhoods, she saw how more dilapidated they were, and
Yes.
how economics and race are so much intertwined in the United States, right? So. I get your point at first when you were saying that's not about black people. Well, it might be because economics and race is very intertwined in the United States, and if it's about economics, at the end of the day, it's about race, right? To some extent.
Well,
So the I don't know, man. It's a so the point you were trying to make is that even the poor white people, they always have the means to move, as proven by the fact that as soon as black people move around them, they are able to move, or
no, 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 no. A lot of times the poor white people don't move, but the poor white people, it's like they're the poor white people are a lot like the poor black people. You know, they play music loud, they don't upkeep their lawn, they litter. So a lot of times, that's why I said it doesn't matter about race. It's a matter about the class and the people who want to be vested in their neighborhoods and the people who aren't invested in their neighborhoods. If that makes any sense, I don't know if that makes any sense. When I say vested, meaning like you know that you're gonna move in a house, you got to cut your grass. When you move into a house, you might want to be considerate to your neighbors and don't play your music loud. Just shit like that. So, I've had people um, who I've asked in my neighborhood, yo, can you turn the music down? And they look at me crazy. But see, there's a culture there. There's a culture of people who don't mind having loud neighbors playing their music loud, and that's acceptable amongst their culture, but trip out when people who don't agree with that want to move out and move flight, and then they're like, oh. And so then when they see a more prominent neighborhood, and these people who are more prominent say, look, we don't want loud music being played in our neighborhood, and then first thing they scream is, oh, racism, oh, this and that. But, yo, why are you not getting this neighborhood? You have to have a certain class,
oh no,
a
I
certain
understand that.
criteria.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, that's perfectly fine, right?
Okay,
Here when I
so
was living in Blainville, right? Blainville, there's a part of the town that's called Fontainebleau, right? And Fontainebleau is
okay,
still Blainville, right? But it's the rich part, right? You've got hockey players that live
yes,
there. You've got TV stars that live there, and as soon you're
right,
not even allowed to drive in their streets, right? Their gates
yes,
at the
right,
end of their little community, right? And if you drive there,
yes,
there's people in little cars that gonna come to you and try and so that's for if you don't live there, you don't even supposed to be there. And people living there, from what I understand, they're under those kind of strict rules, right? And most
yes,
house they look away on the outside, and on the
right,
inside you're gonna see the real personality of the, but on the outside it's all a facade, right? Everybody has to respect those rules. Same thing for, so yes, when you get, if you voluntarily go into one of those communities, right, fine,
right.
you know that those rules were what you have to play with. But there's something I understand that's called gentrification, right, where
Yes,
neighborhoods
yes.
where you could play music, some people move in, prices you out, and at some point tells you you can't play your music anymore. Well, fuck, I was here
Right.
before you, I was playing music, what the hell is going on, right? So
Well, it's a push out. It's a push out. It's basically the regentrification is supposed to be the embetterment of that neighborhood. And so, yeah, these are in order to keep things
Betterment
nice.
for who?
And well, people who are wanting that
We
quieter
didn't.
neighborhood. But like, well, you can say, yeah, white people, you can say that, but there's a lot of black people who don't want that loud music either, who fit in a certain class bracket. That's why I say it's
I
really a class issue.
Loud music has nothing to do with look. Okay, in one of the neighborhoods I lived where you could play loud music, there
Uh
was
huh.
this guy named John Warnett that lived there, right? John Warnett is the owner of a logging truck company
Right.
he's a fucking multimillionaire, but he was
Yes.
living in our neighborhood instead of Fontainebleau because he
Okay.
could play music loud and rev his goddamn Porsches how he
Yes.
wanted, right? So it's not even about economics sometimes, right? Because this
No,
guy
it's
has
not.
much
It's
more
not.
money than everybody. So
No, 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 no. I'm glad you said that because you got a lot of rappers who do that who have millions of dollars, but because like that's why I said it's a class issue, and then it's about having class. Sometimes, just like I said, some people might look at a person with a lot of money who fits in a certain class particular as not being unclassy, meaning um, just being like a person who is considered to their neighbor is a person you could say is a classy person. That is a classy person. A person who cuts their grass, who is considerate. I'm not gonna play my music loud because my neighbors. I'm considerate. That some people could say that is a classy person. As a person for a person who can say, "Oh, I got millions of dollars," and still not have any class, not any consideration, not have any no tactfulness about themselves.
well, he had consideration, right? Because he moved to a place where people would enjoy and accept that, right? Because
Right.
in our neighborhood, everybody's playing loud music, everybody's partying. If you hear loud music, you tend to go towards that music to see what's going on and participate in the loud musicking, right? And everybody love these cars, so go on, rev them, have
Okay.
fun with
So
them. So it's that is considerate to decide to go towards a community that might not have the same means economically as you, might not be at the same cultural background as you, but will enjoy what you're doing, than
so
forcefully going to Fontainebleau and pissing everybody off with your the way you're acting, right?
So Zanzi, you've actually reinforced my argument. So you're saying that there are a group of people that like loud music and they'll go towards that. So right, yeah. So that's all that people in the red state are saying. Go to the blue state. They're doing that.
But
They're
liking
playing loud.
liking loud music and abortions are not comparable.
No, 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 no. I'm using a microcosm to explain a microcosm and explain a macrocosm. Meaning, I'm using the music to explain the
But I
abortion. It's not even
understand
about
maybe
the
that
abortion, right?
you're saying, well, it's not about abortion, but they're still using that to try and
The
effectuate
analogy,
their means, right?
right?
Ain't that
At the
wrong?
end of the day, at the end of the day, it's about separation of people who don't share your culture, who don't share your
Segregation, basically,
values.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Not
basically,
racial
yeah, yeah.
segregation, cultural segregation. But my question here is, I understand that, but ain't that a wrong thing ethically?
I can you
To
explain
do it
how?
in ways, to do it like Warnet, right?
Uh huh.
He had all the. It didn't cost him anything more to move in our area, right? It could have for security if we were assholes. He didn't need it, but
Okay.
but still, right? But for someone with our means that would want the security and calm that Fontainebleau offers, he wouldn't have the mean to move there, right? So the so, but
So
again,
then,
uh,
if you don't have the
not
means
wanting
to,
loud music is an inconvenience, right? It won't affect your
right?
life. So if you don't have the means to move into a community where loud music is going to be enforced, that's just too bad, right? Uh, for abortion is different, right? Because that process of trying to segregate culturally has a profound effect on the lives of people. That's
Right.
the part where it makes it ethically wrong. Segregating culturally by itself is not necessarily wrong, but the impact and
Okay.
the means that you take to achieve it is what will define if it's ethically wrong or not. And I personally believe that the way that it's effectuated right now, if that's the mean, if that's what they why they effectuate it for the economic and cultural aspect, it's wrong. Um, to do it that way. Um, I, I I don't know what's your position on that. I understand that it's a mean to an end. My question is that does the end justify the mean in that particular case?
I would say yes, because there are parts in the world. Would you agree that there's a parts in the world, many nations that don't do abortions?
Oh yeah, no, no. Again, I don't judge North Korea and their nuclear ambitions, right? So I'm not
Right.
judging. I'm expressing my opinions, but I won't
No,
start throwing
and you're
rocks at
good.
people from states that I'm trying to understand. I'm not trying to judge in any ways. So, but my opinion is that ethically it doesn't stand. And that's the question I'm asking. Your position on that. So.
Now, okay, when you say ethnically doesn't stand, so are you saying that so you're saying that a person, I don't, I'm
Okay,
not
so
trying
I
to,
can clarify that. So
okay,
ethics, right? Because you've got morals, right?
yeah,
Morals, a religion, right, could be
yeah,
considered immoral to some
hmm
people who do not believe, whilst it could
right,
be considered a rule of ethic for believers, right?
right. But a
But
person like
but
myself, I'm gonna,
morals tends to be things that are uh, opinions about cultural preferences, whilst ethics are usually postulates that went through the logic system, right? If you know what logic is in argumentation, um, but like so premises are always assumption in logic, right? So the ethics depend on the premises that you have in the ethics system. So that's why there's what we call utilitarian ethics, or there's ethics of rights, or ethics of responsibilities, right?
okay. So
But
I'm
so
gonna simplify this. I'm
ethically,
gonna simplify
I
this.
believe that in
I'm gonna
and
simplify this. I'm
at
gonna,
least an utilitarian ethics, it doesn't stand. As far as
uh-huh.
ethics of rights too, I doesn't think it stands. And ethics of responsibility, I guess that could be debated. And there's a lot of system of ethics, right? But in most system of ethics that I can think of, I don't think it stands. In moral systems,
Okay,
for sure, everything stands in
okay,
moral systems.
okay. And everything that you said, I'm gonna sum it up. I'm gonna sum this up because we're winding down. I'm gonna sum this up, Zanzi. Do you consider eating another human being wrong?
Ethically, it depends on the
Yes.
context. Morally, yes,
Oh, okay, okay. So, okay, morally, you consider that wrong, right?
yes.
Okay, so here in the U.S., we had, I think it was flight seven. It was back in '74. They had a plane crash, and the people, the plane landed. A lot of people died. A lot of people survived, and they had no food. So they started eating the other passengers.
Yeah, that's ethical.
So, okay, so okay. So I say that to say, in this situation, we are having an economical drain where the money, they are cutting off certain aspects of the money, food stamps, abortions, whatever it is, to sustain what little economy we have until we can recoup. So as that emergency flight, just like those people who got trapped on that plane and up in the mountains, they had to make a decision. Look, in order to
They ate
survive,
people
one,
that were
right?
already dead in that
Yes,
plane
yes,
crash.
yes. But okay,
Here
do
we're
you okay?
killing people to for economical gains. That's not
No,
ethical.
we're not killing
That's not
them.
ethical.
No, no, offering them a ticket
Well, you're
and to
making their
offer
life
to
much worse. So what you're trying to make right now is the utilitarian argument, But if you calculate the actual good you're getting from that policy versus the actual bad you're getting from that policy, I guarantee that the actual bad is going to be much higher than the actual good. Now, this is a much larger argument that we won't be able to do in the 13 minutes I have left before I have to go. But
Okay,
if you want to set up a stream where we discuss that, I'll be absolutely glad
we're
to
gonna do
actually prepare for it.
we're gonna do a part two maybe on Sunday. What do you say? Sunday? Does that sound good? Because I
Sunday,
know
that
you
sounds
work,
good.
man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Okay, okay. So Sunday, because I know you don't work on Sunday. Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, because this is a good conversation. Because I want to be at the house because I really want to delve into this because, like I said, I like the analogy that you're using, and that's why I use the airplane analogy because we have laws that are being changed based on our economy. So I think when the money starts running out, people start to change and they start to become self. They go into self-preservation mode. Would you not agree, Zanzi?
I'm sorry. They try to because your volume kind of dropped.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What I'm saying is they go into self-preservation mode. Did you hear that?
I think that's the argument they're making. I don't think it's true though.
You don't think it's true?
No, and that's why I need to prepare because as far as the argument towards ethics and it goes, I could go freestyle about that, but I have to verify the actual numbers, right? The economic numbers because I'm not a citizen of the United States, so I'm not too much aware of the numbers. But it
Okay.
doesn't make sense to me from what I understand the situation is. They won't save the numbers they think they're gonna be saving. They're making the argument that they're going to save those numbers, but they're not. And but they're definitely going to hurt the people that they're going to hurt. Yeah, I have to research the economics on it to make a solid supported argument. I
Okay.
think I can do that before Sunday, so that's gonna be cool. But
Okay.
this time, right, we're gonna email ourselves just to be clear on the time because last time I missed you by a half an hour, so that's
Yeah, 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 yeah. That was my fault. That was my fault. Like I said, we were talking about the Zelensky situation with the
yeah,
Ukraine,
yeah.
and yeah, I got intel that that war is done. It's done. They're dragging you out right now. You still see it on the news, Anzi, but it's done. There's no way he can win. So once I got a confirmation on that, that's when I wanted to make sure that I had the right information. But what time works for you on Sunday?
Well, this
Because
time
we're both
I
East
won't be
Coast.
at anything, so pretty much anytime after afternoon that should be good for me. Is it good for you? Or?
Yeah, yeah. Does 2 o'clock sound good?
Perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the thing now, man, and I'm gonna yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Yeah, because this is definitely a good discussion, man. Because like I said, we're attacking this. We're dealing with this on a level that nobody is dealing with. Everybody's dealing from an emotional standpoint, but yeah, you and I are really Once we have the stats, it's gonna be a really good show. Really good
I
show.
try. I get emotional like everybody, but when it comes to arguing, I try to just use logic because at the end of the day, an argument is an equation. It's literally a mathematical equation, right? So
Okay.
there is an answer as long as you follow logic and you
Okay.
use premises that are well defined. So. Uh, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
I studied
All right.
philosophy in college, specifically to understand how all this works. So I am really glad to have an opportunity to actually argue with you formally for the first time.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And I'll get a if you want, we can get a ref like a person like in betweener, I guess. I can call
I,
this guy
I
Chris.
I I do not. Okay, so that's something we can discuss with the time that's left, right? My
Okay.
arguing style, because I listened to you and Yanga talk about the Solar Vision debate league, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
we were talking about aggressiveness, and so those seems to be more debates of a rhetoric nature, right? Where the
Right.
goal
Right.
is to
Yeah.
convince an audience. My debating style, my arguing style is more of a dialectic nature, right?
Okay. That's
So
fine.
I'm not interested in winning or losing. I'm just interested in getting to the truth. So
Okay. No
my
problem.
position
Okay.
are not to be defended; they are to be explained and examined, and that's what I plan to do with yours. If you're all right with that, I
Yeah.
can
That's
do
fine. Yeah. Yeah.
rhetorics
Yeah.
too,
That's
but
fine.
I don't like rhetorics. So
Okay. No problem. No problem. Yeah. 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 We can do that. Yeah. I'm with you on that too, man. I think that debate league that you mentioned, they're more about entertainment. So yeah. Let's get down to it, man. Because like I said, it's a real issue, and I don't want people to think that the United States is outlawing abortion. But
Oh
I'm
no, no,
gonna
I'm
definitely
clear. I'm
get
clear
down.
on that.
Yeah,
At the federal level, they're not doing that at all. I don't think they will
right.
ever have the intention of doing that. That would be a
No, no, no.
fucking old can of worm to open. So
Right. Yeah, that would be that would be a catastrophe. That would
yeah,
be a catastrophe. So yeah, I agree with you on that part. So yeah, that would be a utmost catastrophe if they did that. But I don't think they're going to do that. This is just a tactic. But I'm gonna break that all down Sunday, man. It's just all a tactic. It's a strategy tactic to move and shift people. And like I said, I can go back because I've seen it firsthand with the Olympics here in Atlanta, where they paid homeless people just to go anywhere. It didn't matter how much the ticket was, as long as you leave Atlanta, we will pay your way. So with that being said, Zenzi, yeah, let's do this Sunday, man. Because I know you got to go.
yeah.
Let's wind it down.
I do
Yeah.
have to go and get some things for work, so I have to go and go in the heat, man. I'm pretty sure it's hotter in Georgia right now than it is in Canada. What's the heat in
Yeah.
Georgia right now?
It's 86 right now. It's cooler than it was yesterday. We the weekend it got up to 106, but it didn't cool down. It's still warm, but it cooled down a little bit. So yeah.
All right.
So and what we are having water restrictions here in Georgia too. We're having water restrictions.
Oh, that's another debate, water, that I'd be interested to discuss because, right, water restrictions, that's something we don't have here. Canada and Quebec, we're just we've
Right.
got most of the fresh water in the world, so
Right.
water is an interesting debate.
Yeah,
All
it
right,
is.
so
It is.
but I do have to go. But on Sunday we'll
Two
exchange
o'clock.
ideas
Okay.
again.
Okay. I'll set it up, Zazie.
Well, to all the watchers that I see at every stream, you have a wonderful end of your day too. Bye bye.
All right. Thanks, Zazie. All right, y'all. So y'all hear it. Y'all see it Sunday, man. Sunday at 2. I'm gonna put it in the description. Me and Zanzi are gonna debate the abortion issue, and yeah, y'all be here, man. So with that being said, I'm out. Y'all, peace.